We're joined now by our colleague at NBC, Mike Tirico. Mike, it's great to see you. Your reaction to this momentous news.
Hey, guys. Good evening from Paris. We're over here to get ready for 1 year out from the Olympics, and I was walking by the Seine River when the news came out. So this has been an interesting hour and a half, to say the least. I guess I want to know, does this mean the PIF is going to pay for the PIP going forward on the PGA Tour? This is shocking. And you've heard it from the people who've been on the show here. And those of us who talk to people in the golf world have received the same type of text. Stunned. Wow, what happened? Why did this happen? If you look at it purely for competition and watching sports, it's better because all the golfers will be in the same place. If you start to unpeel the morality of it, where the money's coming from, what will be the money trail going forward, the loyalty to the PGA Tour that was expressed by some of the highest profile names on tour who were offered those 8-9-figure deals. They said they were going to stay with the tour. The others who left got their money. Those guys get nothing out of that. Has golf gotten better as a product? Absolutely. But the individuals who are at the forefront of it may have taken a lot more damage than they needed to in trying to uphold what we've known the PGA Tour as for quite some time.
You're touching on some of the players who, in essence, were the mouthpieces for the PGA Tour over the last 12 to 18 months, notably Rory McIlroy. Tiger Woods had a strong stance in support of the PGA Tour. How do you think they're going to reconcile, then, this news coming out today?
They're going to have a lot of questions. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure Jay Monahan knows that. And those guys have been involved in plenty of the leadership and the conversation. But it's not just them. There are other players, Hideki Matsuyama, for example. You can go through a lot of players who were offered money by LIV, turned it down to stay with the tour, and that's a business decision. Let's come back to this, okay? This is a business decision. What you need to do is remove your own personal feelings and your emotions to try to cover the story legitimately and let people make a decision. These were business decisions made by many people who wanted to stay with the PGA Tour, whether it was they felt it was the best thing for them, they didn't like the team golf concept. Morally, they felt that the PGA Tour money they were making was different than the LIV money they would have been making. Whatever their reasons, they had to make a business decision, and they did. Are they damaged by that decision? Perhaps a little bit, and only time will tell how they go about being made whole, whether it is with their reputation or financially. For the other players who come over from the LIV Tour and back next year, those guys made a pile of money. Now we'll get the opportunity to come back and compete and kind of pick up their spot where they were almost 20 months ago. So their business deal was a win for them. That's simple. This is sometimes sports, because of our attachment to people, and in this sport, attachment to events, we get very emotionally connected with these things. At the end of the day, as we have seen, and we see it in spades here, this is a business deal. You heard the guys on CNBC with David Faber. This was a business deal that was hatched over a couple of rounds of golf, or one round of golf and a couple of lunches on either side. It sounds like a lot of merger and acquisition deals that have been done where nobody knew about it until right when it was going to happen. Usually you hear about these on Squawk Box at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning before the markets open, right? We happen to hear about this the day after the longest day in golf. So very few people knew, as Rich is reporting and others throughout, of people who I've talked to in the industry who are pretty high up the food chain were stunned by the timing. They didn't know until a very short time before it came out. So there were very few people in on this, but they made a high-level deal that in the long run will impact the sport going forward, probably from a product standpoint for the better. Now, if you want to ask, does Saudi involvement in sports in America and in sports around the world have an impact? That's a different story, and that's a conversation that is going to continue to progress.
Well, let's continue to have it, Mike, because some may call it a high-level business deal, but some may call it sportswashing, which is a term used to describe individuals or groups that use sports to take away any spotlight on wrongdoing. Is this dictionary definition of sportswashing? Did it win?
The way it's come up, Damon, yes, it has been. Let's just be clear here. The business decision was by the individuals, and they had their moral reasons to make those decisions. It's not for us to stand in judgment of right or wrong. We can think you're right or you're wrong to ourselves, but we don't know their personal situations. So they made their choices, and the ones who did go take the money and are going to come back probably feel like they made the right deal for them. Now, when they hit the pillow at night, what's their comfort level with it? That's their own business. That's not for us to necessarily tell them how to feel or tell you at home how to feel. We can share opinions that we may have as individuals if we so choose when it comes to that. But there's no doubt that over time, Saudi Arabia has gotten more involved in sports and more involved in business as well. That has kept a light there and taken a light away from the other things that have been talked about with the Saudi government over the years. Now, Rich made a good point that Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, is in Saudi Arabia right now. Parallel to that, the State Department put out a memo today talking about the 80 years of relationship that the United States has had with Saudi Arabia, and that the U.S. is in the process of building a new embassy in Riyadh, and that they are continuing on the back end of President Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia last year to continue building that relationship and maintaining it. So on that side, as we look at sports, we also look at our entire country, and this is a reality that is happening. So whether you agree vehemently, disagree vehemently, no matter what, this is what's happening. How Saudi Arabia is trying to spin it is one thing, but also how the U.S. government is going about it is something else that needs to be presented and counterbalanced as well.
Mike, you've such a fundamental understanding of the reach of golf, not just domestically, but internationally, as well as sport. I mean, you said you're in Paris now for a one-year look out to the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. The Public Investment Fund, we heard Governor Yasser Al-Rumayyan say there are 13 different asset classes they look at. Sports happens to be one of those. They've had the investment in Formula One as well as into the Premier League. For this now to happen with a U.S.-based sports league, it seems to be potentially the first domino to fall. But how tectonic a shift will that be going forward now that they have an entry point into the U.S.?
And if it bothers fans, George, then we as American sports fans start to understand how Premier League fans have started to feel over not just Saudi or not just Asia, but also investment from multiple U.S. owners. I think of the Fenway Group, you think of the Glazers, and man, there are many connections with teams in the Premier League that are outside of England, and that has not sat well with some fans. But it's become the reality as it's become an economic powerhouse that that's the case. And this is a very similar feeling thing, at least from where I sit, for American and American golf fans in general. It feels different because the PGA Tour really built a lot of its equity and a lot of its connection with cities and events and communities as this great entity that came to your town and left a bit of a legacy and raised funds for everything from children's hospitals to what the folks at the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit do, and that's bridge the digital divide and provide internet and Wi-Fi and computers for people in downtown Detroit and Metro Detroit who don't have those. But there is a real fundamental takeaway from it. Maybe this is the plate shifting a bit more, that community involvement, while it's still maybe there, the game is being played on a much bigger stage with financial implications that are way beyond what we grew up with. So perhaps we're going to have to get used to this is the way golf is going to be. It's going to be much less about taking care of the local charity. And it's still going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to. But the reality is it's huge business. And these are individual contractors who are going to make their money. You don't have to like it, but it's the reality that's out there, and this says it in spades. And so did the events that were going on, the elevated events, the PIP, all of those things. That was all about money. It was all about getting the best players to be compensated the most money without saying, hey, come to our event, we'll give you $100,000, as happened in Europe in the recent past. So we all have to just balance what it's coming down to, but the reality is money does talk. And at the end of the day, if you follow George Washington, you're going to get the answer. And the answer has led to these two sides coming together and staying out of court, which would have cost them a lot more money in all the litigation that was coming down the road with both sides.
Mike, if you recall, the LPGA Commissioner Molly Marcoux Simon left the door open several months ago to a conversation with the PIF. Does this news affect, in your mind, the potential of the PIF touching the women's game as well? Talk about deficits in purses compared to the men's professional game.
Sure, it can open the door to a lot of different things. It depends where their interest is to bring their investment money. If that was investment money from an American company, we would applaud it and cheer it. What will the impact be if it's not an American company? The public will tell you at the end of the day if they care about the money trail or not. How will they tell you? They'll tell you by not supporting the events. They'll tell you by not going. They'll tell you by not watching. That's the plain, simple truth to it. Now, what was Live Golf's success or failure? It's hard to say because there wasn't a long enough runway of TV to say people are turning out and watching it or they're not watching it at all. The ratings were very, very microscopic when they were announced, and then they shut that down. Was that a function of people didn't believe in it because of the way it was funded? People weren't into team golf. It was up against the PGA Tour, and they'd rather watch the tour. Nobody has those answers. There wasn't enough data to really get a good feel for that. So the next step to your question is, if they decide, the PIF decides to go to the LPGA or to some other golf entity, what's to say that they don't become the NIL provider to college golf? I just saw 4 Stanford guys made it through golf's longest day, and 4 Stanford Cardinal golf team members are going to be in the field of 156 at the U.S. Open. What's to say that the PIF doesn't look at that and say, we'll become the NIL arm to college golf teams? Let's even go beyond that. What's to say that their next sector that they look at is not NIL in college sports in the SEC, right? We don't know what that next step is. The question is, do the people who currently run those organizations say, no, we don't want your money? Or does the price get to the point where they can't say no to it? That's the next step down the road here as we talk about the different sports and the involvement of money outside of where it traditionally has come in American-based sports. Hey, the Green Bay Packers are the coolest thing going. Why? Because we all feel like that community ownership is something we'd love to be a part of. But that's a very singular entity. It's the only one out of the almost 120 U.S. professional major sports teams, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, NHL, that has that setup. We don't see it replicated because it's hard to do. And I think we're seeing that as sports money gets bigger, the bigger money folks are the only people who can afford to be the owners of these sports and now these leagues.